Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to crack open James Allen's timeless classic, As a Man Thinketh, and really boil it down to its powerful core message: your thoughts are literally the blueprint for your reality. So let's just dive right in with this one single idea, because it's the bedrock of the entire philosophy. Allen isn't just suggesting this, he is flat out declaring it. We are the architects of our own lives. I mean, everything. Our character, our health, our circumstances, all of it is built, piece by piece, by the thoughts we choose to keep in our minds. So, how exactly does this all play out? Well, it really starts at the very core of who you are. The foundational principle here is that your character isn't some fixed thing you're born with. It's the complete, living, breathing sum of all your thoughts up to this very moment.
And Allen's not just being poetic here. He's arguing this is a fundamental law of our being, as real, as undeniable, as something like gravity. You are, and this is the key, literally what you think.
And what's really fascinating is how this law actually works. And get this, it's not some kind of magic. It's a really clear three-step process. Every single action we take starts out as this tiny, hidden seed of a thought. That thought then blossoms into an act, which eventually bears the fruit of our life. And that fruit is either joy or suffering.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Here's the big takeaway. You are always the master of your mind. There's no getting around that. The real question you have to ask yourself is, what kind of master are you going to be? A wise one who's consciously directing their thoughts toward good things? Or a foolish one who just lets their mind run wild and then wonders why they're a victim of circumstance?
All right, so if our thoughts are busy shaping our character on the inside, how does that actually start to build the world we see on the outside? This is where that mental blueprint really becomes the architecture of our lives. Well, to really get this, Allen gives us this amazing metaphor. Just think of your mind as a garden. Now, whether you actively tend to it, planting seeds and pulling weeds, or you completely neglect it, one thing is for sure, it will grow something. It just can't sit there and do nothing. And this right here just perfectly illustrates the two ways this can go. You can either be the master gardener, consciously planting these useful, positive seeds, or you can just let the wild seeds of negativity and doubt drift in and completely take over by default.
And you know what? This whole process, it's not random at all. The book lays out this super clear chain of cause and effect. I mean, just take a look. A persistent little thought seed of fear and doubt, right? That first crystallizes into a weak, kind of indecisive habit. And that habit, if you practice it long enough, solidifies into the hard reality of failure and dependence. You see that? It's a direct line from thought to outcome.
But here's the really cool part. This law, it works just as powerfully in our favor. Thoughts of courage and self-reliance, they build strong habits which then solidify into success and freedom. Pure thoughts lead to peace. It's the exact same unshakable process. You're just using much, much better seeds. So, what this all boils down to is that your world isn't just happening to you, it's happening from you. It's like a kaleidoscope, and your thoughts are what's turning the lens, creating all the beautiful, or maybe not so beautiful, patterns that you see every single day. Okay, but this whole kaleidoscope thing, it doesn't just stop at your job or your relationships. The ripple effect goes even deeper, directly shaping the physical vessel you live in every day, your body. And Allen he's incredibly direct about this. He basically says, the body is the servant of the mind. Just think about it for a second. How do you feel physically when you're super anxious or angry? He argues those thoughts don't just stay in your head. They actively weaken the body, opening the door to disease. In his view, sick thoughts will, sooner or later, create a sick body. He even goes so far as to say that your face literally becomes a canvas for your thoughts. A mind that's always full of sour thoughts, he says, eventually carves itself into a sour face. But a mind that's filled with joy and goodwill, that helps maintain a bright, serene look, no matter how old you get. All right, so we get it, right? The mind is this incredibly powerful force. But just knowing that, well, that's not really enough, is it? How do we actually start to harness that power? How do we go from being a passive passenger to being the pilot of our own lives? And this is where Allen kind of looks you right in the eye and asks this question. He calls aimlessness a vice, a weakness that basically lets your thoughts just drift on the ocean of life, totally vulnerable to every passing storm of worry and fear.
So what's the answer? Well, according to Alan, it's all about linking your thoughts to a clear purpose. That purpose becomes the rudder for your mind, the central point for everything. And suddenly, you're not just drifting anymore. You actually have a direction. You have a destination.
And a huge piece of this puzzle, it's totally non-negotiable, is conquering doubt and fear. Alan calls them disintegrating elements because they literally shatter your focus and break your resolve. The moment you start to rigorously push them out, your thought stops being this passive thing and becomes what it was always meant to be, an active, creative force.
Okay, so let's say you do all this. You cultivate your mental garden, you steer with purpose. What's the end game? What's the ultimate prize here? It might not be what you think.
And you might be surprised, because the grand prize isn't more money or a fancy title. It's a profound state of being, serenity. Alan describes it so beautifully as the exquisite poise of character, the ultimate fruitage of the soul. This is the true sign that you've mastered yourself.
And make no mistake, this isn't some passive, zoned-out state of mind. This calmness is a beautiful jewel of wisdom. It's proof of ripened experience, a sign that you have a really deep understanding of those laws of thought we've been talking about. This right here is what real power looks like. The calm person has learned how to govern themselves, and because of that, they can weather any storm that life throws at them. This is where it all clicks into place. Self-control really is strength, right thought is mastery, and that calmness, that's true power. And that just brings us full circle, right back to the beginning. If your world truly is a kaleidoscope, and your thoughts are the things creating the patterns, well, the only question that's left is a really personal one. What picture will you choose to create next?